The idea of taking a big, practical SUV and then throwing away some of that practicality by giving it a sloping roof and then charging more money for it might seem a little bit illogical to you or I, but it's a formula that really works. It started with the BMW X6 quite a while ago, and now Porsche, the makers of one of the sportiest SUVs around, have gone down that route. This is the Cayenne Coupe, and I'm here on this beautifully sunny day in the south of France to drive it and tell you what it's like. When it comes to turning an SUV into a coupe, over the years some have nailed the look, but others have not. Porsche, I think, has done a great job. The roof flows smoothly into the tail and it doesn't look too ungainly. The active spoiler has been moved from the roof down to the tailgate, and it rises by 135 mm to keep the rear stable at high speeds. And also helping on this front is the rear track that's 18 mm wider than the standard Cayenne. The optional 22-inch wheels do wonders for the car's stance, and while nothing seems to have changed at the front, the windscreen is actually more steeply raked. But what do you think about the Cayenne Coupe's looks? Would you prefer it over a Mercedes GLE Coupe, an Audi Q8, or the original coupe SUV, the BMW X6? Let us know in the comments below, and as ever, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon for notifications, and check us out on Instagram. Inside you get the same beautifully crafted and driver-focused interior as before. I particularly like this car's sports seats with the retro texture in the center. The coupe will get more equipment as standard than the regular Cayenne, but there's still a lot that will be optional. Interestingly, the standard roof on the coupe is a fixed panoramic glass unit, and as an option you could get a carbon fiber roof, which lowers the weight and the center of gravity, but you cannot get a sunroof that opens. That's all well and good, but what's really changed is the back seat. They've lowered the seat to give a bit more space, but has that really worked? Now, as you may have noticed, there was a bit of a duck to get into the back seat of the Cayenne Coupe, but once you're sat in here, it's really not all that bad. Well, legroom hasn't changed, so that's pretty good. But yeah, there is a bit of a compromise when it comes to headroom. I'm not the tallest person, as you can see I've got plenty of room, but I suppose for a 6-foot plus person, it might be a bit of a squeeze, and you might feel a little hemmed in by the small windows. Boot volume, of course, is less than the standard Cayennes, but at 598 litres, I'm sure you'll agree it's still plentiful. Now, no surprises here that the Cayenne Coupe from behind the wheel feels pretty much exactly the same as the Cayenne, but again, that's no bad thing, is it? What I'm driving at the moment is the turbo, and that means a 550 horsepower twin turbocharged V8. Now, of course, you can go up to a turbo SE hybrid, the crazy plug-in hybrid with the turbo engine plus electric motors that has about 680 horsepower. But that won't be coming to India immediately, maybe at a later stage, we'll see. For now, however, this is the most potent one that will be coming to our market, and boy, it is potent, I'll tell you that. Quickly flick it up into sport. To get a better idea of what exactly this engine can do. So what I'm driving now is a series of hairpin bends that's going really sharply up this mountain. The ascent is pretty steep, and it's just a quick point and squirt from corner to corner. But on a road like this, the way this car pulls itself up and out of a corner is truly astonishing. It's then when you realize that perhaps the most fascinating thing about the Cayenne, and perhaps more so this Cayenne Coupe, is not the power, because of course there's plenty of that. It's how it manages that power and how such a big, heavy car can manage to pull off physics-defying handling on a windy road like this. So one of the features that really helps you out a lot on a winding road like this is the rear wheel steering, which makes light work of this car's bulk, quite frankly. Without that feature, steering something as big and as wide as this car on such a narrow road with so many corners stitched together one after the other would have been an absolute chore. But here, absolute cinch. But that doesn't take away from that inherent Porsche feel that you get through the steering wheel. It's a hefty, solid, connected feel. It's a direct feel. And many car makers in their shift to electric power steering haven't quite got this right, but not Porsche. They have mastered steering. Now, as beautiful as the south of France is, the roads over here are nothing to write home about. This car is riding on the optional 22-inch alloy wheels. And well, we actually tested the regular Cayenne Turbo back home with the same optional 22-inch alloy wheels, the same size at least. And today, just like back then, you can sort of feel the size of the tire on the road. But the air suspension and the adaptive dampers do a pretty good job of ironing that out. So the Porsche Cayenne Coupe is, as you would expect, a little less practical than the regular Cayenne, especially in the back seat, and at a premium when it launches in December of 2019. Now it will come to India in this turbo guise as well as the base V6 guise with 340 horsepower. We drove that too, but frankly it doesn't quite have the go to match the show. This will be the model that gets you the attractive look at a more attractive price, and for some that will be enough. For the full effect though, it has to be the turbo, but whichever model you choose, prepare to pay a 7-figure premium over the equivalent standard Cayenne. But is that worth it? Now yes, it doesn't drive all too differently from the standard Cayenne, and truth be told, on a road like this or in any Indian conditions, you can't feel the added width at the rear nor the lower center of gravity. But that's not the point, is it? No, the point of this car is the way that it looks, and I couldn't think of a sportier SUV to give a fastback roof to. That's what people are going to pay a premium for, and well, if it takes off in India, be sure to see a lot more of these on our roads.